Welcome back to Decoding Nietzsche, where we break down the dense and powerful writings of Thus Spoke Zarathustra.
Today, we're jumping into a really pivotal chapter, Part 4, Section 71, titled The Greeting. It's a fascinating scene.
It really is. The chapter opens with Zarathustra returning to his mountain cave late in the afternoon.
And he's had a long day, right? He's been out searching for what he calls the higher man.
Exactly. A long and, as the text says, useless search. He's coming home empty-handed, or so he thinks.
But something happens just as he gets close to his cave.
Something he least expects. He hears that great cry of distress again, the same one he heard earlier in the day.
Only this time is different. Where is it coming from?
That's the shock for him. It's coming from inside his own cave.
Wow. So the source of all this despair he's been tracking has ended up at his own front door.
Precisely. And the text describes it as a long, manifold, peculiar cry. He can tell it's made up of many voices, even though it sounds like one from a distance.
So he rushes in. What does he find?
He finds what the book calls a spectacle. It's a gathering of all the strange figures he encountered during his search that day.
Can you give us a roll call? Who exactly is in the cave?
It's quite a cast. We have the king on the right and the king on the left, the old magician, the retired pope, the voluntary beggar.
It's a collection of people who have, in some way, given up on their former high positions or beliefs.
That's a great way to put it. Also in the group are the shadow, the intellectually conscientious one, and the sorrowful soothsayer.
And a couple of other key figures are there too, right?
Yes, the ass is there, which is a very symbolic animal in this part of the book. And then there's the ugliest man.
What's he doing? The text mentions he's dressed up.
He is. He's put a crown on his head and is wearing 2 purple girdles. The narrator notes that he, like all ugly ones, likes to disguise himself and pretend to be handsome.
That's a sad but very human detail. It speaks to the insecurity of this group.
It does. And in the middle of this sorrowful company are Zarathustra's own animals, his eagle and his serpent.
How are they reacting to these guests?
The eagle is ruffled and uneasy. It's been pestered with questions that its pride has no answer for.
It's a symbol of pride, so it can't handle the despair of these men.
Right, but the serpent, representing wisdom, is calm and just hangs around the eagle's neck, a picture of composure.
So, Zarathustra takes all this in. What's his first move?
He's astonished, naturally, but then he looks at each guest with a courteous curiosity, trying to read their souls.
And the guests, they've all risen and are waiting for him to speak. It's a very tense moment.
It is, and what he says is extraordinary. He starts, "Ye despairing ones, ye strange ones, so it was your cry of distress that I heard."
So he's connecting the dots. He realizes these are the people he's been hearing.
Yes, and then comes the big revelation. He says, "And now do I also know where he is to be sought, whom I have sought for in vain, the higher man."
He's found them, or rather, they have found him. They are the higher men he was looking for.
Exactly. He says, "In mine own cave sitteth he, the higher man." He even wonders if he himself lured them there with his teachings, his honey offerings.
But he doesn't seem entirely pleased with what he sees. He criticizes them almost immediately.
He does. He tells them they're not good company for each other, that they just sit around making one another's hearts fretful.
And he says what they really need is a clown?
Essentially, yes. He says they need someone to make them laugh again. A good jovial buffoon, a dancer, a wind, a wild romp, some old fool.
He's telling these serious, despairing figures that what they're missing is levity and joy.
It's a direct challenge to their self-seriousness. But then he apologizes, saying his words are trivial for such guests.
Why does he do that? It seems like he's playing with them a bit.
He is. He explains his heart is wanton or playful precisely because of them. He says, "Everyone becometh courageous who beholdeth a despairing one."
That's a counterintuitive idea. Their despair gives him strength.
Yes, the desire to encourage someone who has lost hope makes one feel strong. He thanks them for giving him this power, calling it an excellent guest's present.
So, now that they've given him a gift, he offers them one in return.
Correct. He offers them his empire and dominion for the night. He says, "Let my cave be your resting place."
What does that offer entail? What is he really giving them?
He offers them 2 things. First, security. He says, "In my purlieu do I protect everyone from his wild beasts."
He doesn't mean literal wild animals, does he?
No, he means their inner demons, their anxieties, their despair, the wild beasts within their own souls. He's offering them a safe space from themselves.
That's a profound offer. And the second thing?
The second thing is my little finger, which is a prelude to him saying, "And when ye have that, then take the whole hand also, yea, and the heart with it."
It's a gesture of total acceptance. He welcomes them completely.
Completely. And the text says he laughed with love and mischief. It's a complex greeting, part critique, part compassion, part playfulness.
How do the guests react to this very unusual welcome?
They bow reverentially, and then the king on the right speaks for the group.
And what does he say? Is he offended? Grateful?
He's deeply moved. He says, "By the way in which you have given us your hand and your greeting, we recognize thee as Zarathustra."
So they see his true nature in that strange speech.
Yes, and he touches on a key paradox. He says Zarathustra humbled himself before them, but did so with such pride that it actually uplifted them.
That's fascinating. His act of lowering himself actually raised their spirits.
Exactly. The king says it's a refreshment to our eyes and hearts. He confesses they came as eager beholders, wanting to see something that could brighten dim eyes.
And it worked. He says their cries of distress are over.
Their minds and hearts are now open and enraptured. The king then launches into this beautiful comparison, likening Zarathustra to a great tree.
The pine tree metaphor. Let's unpack that a bit.
He says nothing on earth is more pleasing than a lofty, strong will, and compares Zarathustra to a pine, tall, silent, hardy, solitary.
All qualities that define Zarathustra's journey.
And he says this tree grasps for dominion with strong branches, asking weighty questions of the wind, the storm, and answering even more weightily, like a commander, a victor.
It's a powerful image of strength and aspiration. The king is clearly in awe.
He is. He says that even the gloomy and ill-constituted refresh themselves at this tree, and the wavering becomes steady.
So he's saying Zarathustra's influence is spreading far and wide.
Yes, he confirms that a great longing has arisen. People everywhere are asking, who is Zarathustra?
And those who have heard his teachings, the lone dwellers and the twain dwellers, they've all come to the same conclusion.
That life isn't worth living unless we must live with Zarathustra. It paints a picture of massive spiritual need.
The king describes it as solitude itself becoming fragile and breaking open, like a grave. People are being resurrected.
It's very dramatic language. He says waves are rising around Zarathustra's mountain, and his boat won't stay on dry ground for long. Change is coming.
Then he says something interesting. He frames their own arrival, the arrival of these despairing ones, as a sign.
Yes, a prognostic and a presage that better ones are on the way to thee.
So they don't even see themselves as the final destination. They see themselves as heralds.
Exactly. And the king defines who he thinks these better ones are.
Who are they in the king's mind?
He calls them the last remnant of God among men. He describes them as all the men of great longing, of great loathing, of great satiety.
People who have experienced the extremes of life and faith, and now need a new great hope from Zarathustra.
That's the king's speech. He finishes by seizing Zarathustra's hand to kiss it.
And here comes the twist. How does Zarathustra respond to this incredible praise?
He completely rejects it. He pulls his hand back, frightened, and flees for a moment before returning to his guests.
That is a shocking reaction. What does he say to them?
He looks at them with clear, scrutinizing eyes and says, "My guests, ye higher men, I will speak plain language and plainly with you."
There's a funny little aside here from the other king, right?
Yes, the king on the left mutters to himself that Zarathustra, this sage out of the Orient, clearly means bluntly, which isn't the worst taste these days. It's a moment of comic relief.
Okay, so Zarathustra is about to speak bluntly. What is the hard truth he delivers?
He tells them flat out, "It is not for you that I have waited here in these mountains."
Wow. After all that, a straight-up rejection. But he just called them the higher men.
And he clarifies that, "Ye may verily, all of you, be higher men," he continues, "but for me, ye are neither high enough nor strong enough."
So they're higher relative to the masses, but they're not the ultimate goal he's been waiting for.
Not at all. He says they don't belong to him as his right arm. He goes on to criticize them quite harshly.
What are his main criticisms?
He says they stand on sickly and tender legs and wish to be treated indulgently or coddled, but he doesn't coddle his warriors.
So they're not fit for his warfare. They're too fragile.
Too fragile. He says many of them would fall over just hearing the loud beating of his drums.
He gets even more personal, doesn't he?
Oh, yes. He says, "Ye are not sufficiently beautiful and well-born for me. I require pure, smooth mirrors for my doctrines. On your surface, even mine own likeness is distorted."
Meaning their imperfections and inner turmoil would warp his teachings.
Exactly. He says they carry too many burdens, too many recollections. He says there is concealed populace also in you.
The herd is still inside them, even if they are higher men.
Correct. They are crooked and misshapen, and no smith could hammer them straight for his purposes.
So what is their purpose then in his eyes?
This is the crucial part. He tells them, "Ye are only bridges. May higher ones pass over upon you. Ye signify steps."
They are not the destination. They're the pathway to the destination.
Precisely. He tells them not to be angry at the one who ascends beyond them. He even says a genuine son and perfect heir might arise from their seed, but that time is distant.
So he's rejecting them personally, but acknowledging their role in a larger historical or evolutionary process.
Yes. He repeats, "Not for you do I wait here." And then he directly refutes the king's idea of who is coming.
He rejects the idea of the remnant of God?
Emphatically. He says, "Nay, nay, 3 times nay." He is waiting for others.
So who is he waiting for? If not these higher men, then who?
He tells them, "For higher ones, stronger ones, triumphant ones, merrier ones, for such as are built squarely in body and soul, laughing lions must come."
Laughing lions. Not despairing men, not people full of loathing and satiety, but joyful, powerful, triumphant beings.
It's a complete reversal of the king's expectation. He isn't here to save the despairing. He's here to welcome the already strong and joyful.
This must be devastating for the guests to hear.
You would think so. The chapter ends with one final poignant turn.
What does he ask of them now, after all this?
He shifts his focus entirely. He asks them, "Have ye yet heard nothing of my children, and that they are on the way to me?"
His children? He means these laughing lions?
Yes, his new beautiful race. He begs them, "Do speak unto me of my gardens, of my happy isles. Why do ye not speak unto me thereof?"
So the one thing he wants from these guests, the present he solicits, is news of the very beings he just told them they are not.
It's heartbreaking, in a way. He says he became rich and then poor for them, for these children, these life trees of my will and of my highest hope.
And how does the chapter conclude?
Zarathustra suddenly stops speaking, overwhelmed by his own longing. He closes his eyes and mouth because of the agitation of his heart.
And the guests?
They are silent, still and confounded, all except the old soothsayer, who was just making signs with his hands, a silent commentary on the whole scene.
What a powerful and emotionally complex chapter. It's a greeting that becomes a rejection, which then becomes a plea.
It perfectly captures the tension in Zarathustra's mission. He has to reject the higher men of today to make way for the overman of tomorrow.
And it shows that even he, the great teacher, is filled with a deep and painful longing for a future he can only envision.
A future embodied by those laughing lions. It leaves us and the guests in a state of stunned silence, waiting to see what comes next.
An incredible scene. That's all the time we have for today on Decoding Nietzsche. Join us next time as we explore the fallout from this intense encounter.